I'm standing behind the counter at a cafe in Melbourne's Fitzroy neighborhood, and this American guy in his 30s is spreading Vegemite on his toast like it's Nutella. I'm talking a thick, generous layer. The kind of layer you'd put on peanut butter. My coworker Sarah freezes mid-pour with a coffee pot in her hand. We both know what's about to happen. He takes a huge bite, and his face goes through about 5 different expressions in 2 seconds. Confusion, realization, horror. Even deep, you appreciate stories told from the inside. The kind you only get from actually living it. You'll want to stay close. I track these cultural collisions full-time so you don't have to. Subscribe, and you'll never just skim the surface again. Regret. Then he grabs his water and chugs the entire glass. "This is supposed to be good?" he asks, his voice all strained. I try not to laugh. "Mate, you're meant to use just a scrape. Like barely any." He looks at his toast, then at me, then back at his toast. The jar doesn't say that anywhere. Working in Australian tourism and hospitality, you see this exact scene play out maybe twice a week. Americans hear about Vegemite their whole lives. They see it in memes. They watch videos of other Americans trying it and hating it, but they still walk in confident, thinking they'll be different. Spoiler alert, they're never different. There was this college girl in Sydney who ordered Vegemite toast at a hostel breakfast. She did the exact same thick spread, took one bite and literally spit it back onto her plate in front of everyone. Apologized about 15 times. Then there was the businessman in Brisbane who tried to send it back to the kitchen because he thought it had gone bad. "This tastes rotten," he told the waiter. "Sir, that's just what it tastes like." His face was priceless. And my personal favorite, a family of 4 in Perth who bought a jar at the airport, opened it on their flight, and tried it straight from the jar with a spoon. The flight attendant said she'd never seen 4 people gag in unison before. But that was just the beginning of that particular trip. The thing about Vegemite is that Australians grow up with it. We're introduced to it as babies. Just the tiniest smear on toast. It's salty, it's strong, and you build up a tolerance over like 20 years. This is the level of nuance most travel channels miss. They'll show you the sights. I show you the psychology. If that distinction matters to you, you know what to do. Americans miss all those years. They just jump straight into the deep end. There's this American exchange student who came into the cafe one morning, maybe 19 years old, wearing a university hoodie. He sits down and orders the most Australian breakfast you have. I suggest Vegemite toast with avocado and a flat white. He seems excited, really genuinely excited. When I bring it out, he asks if he can film it for his TikTok. Sure, go ahead. He does this whole intro about trying authentic Australian food. Then he picks up the toast and takes the biggest bite I've ever seen someone take. The camera's still rolling. His eyes water immediately. He's trying so hard not to react badly because he's filming, but his body betrays him. He starts coughing. His friend is laughing behind the phone. "Dude, are you okay?" He finally swallows and looks at the camera with tears in his eyes. That's the saltiest thing I've ever tasted in my entire life. I come over and explain the whole scraping thing. He looks genuinely betrayed. Why does everyone let this happen? I shrug. It's kind of a rite of passage at this point. Then there was the couple in Adelaide, probably in their 50s. They're at a hotel breakfast buffet. I'm working the front desk, but I can see the buffet area from where I'm standing. The wife grabs the Vegemite jar and starts reading it. She calls her husband over. They have this whole discussion about whether to try it. The husband's like, "We came all this way. We should try the local stuff." Famous last words. They both make themselves toast and absolutely slather it on. I'm talking like they're frosting a cake. They sit down at their table, clink their toast together like it's a champagne toast, and take synchronized bites. I watch both their faces crumple at the exact same time. The wife actually makes a little whimpering sound. The husband looks around like he's trying to find somewhere to spit it out. He ends up using his napkin. The wife just powers through and swallows it, but she looks miserable. They leave the toast on their plates and just eat fruit for the rest of breakfast. As they're checking out later, the wife goes, "Is all Australian food that intense?" I tell her no, just the Vegemite. She seems relieved. My friend works at a tour company in Darwin. She says American tourists ask about Vegemite constantly. They want to know where to buy it, how to eat it, whether it's actually good or if it's just a joke. She started carrying around a little instruction card. It says, "Use butter first, then Vegemite. Just a little scrape, not a spread, a scrape." She hands it out like medication instructions. Even with the card, people mess it up. This one guy in his 40s came back from the grocery store with a jar. He told her he followed the card exactly. He did butter first. He did a small amount, but he still hated it. She asked him to show her what he considered a small amount. He demonstrated with his finger, showing about a quarter-inch thickness. She shook her head. "Smaller?" He looked confused. "Smaller than that?" She nodded. "Way smaller. Like, you should barely be able to see it." His whole face changed. "Oh, that explains a lot." There's also this phenomenon where Americans try to make it work. They'll hate the first bite, but convince themselves they just need to acquire the taste. I've seen people force down 3 or 4 pieces of heavily Vegemited toast, each bite worse than the last, because they refuse to admit defeat. This woman in Cairns, maybe mid-30s, came into a cafe and ordered Vegemite toast every single morning for a week. By day 3, the barista asked if she actually liked it. "Not really," she admitted. "But everyone says it's an acquired taste, so I'm acquiring it." By day 7, she finally asked how locals actually eat it. When the barista showed her the proper amount, the woman looked genuinely upset. "I've been torturing myself for nothing?" The barista offered her a properly made piece. She tried it and admitted it was better, but she still didn't love it. At least now I know it's just not for me. Not that I was doing it wrong. Small victories. It's not just food that trips Americans up. It's the entire measurement system. I'm working at a rental car place in Tasmania, and this American guy in his 20s asks how far it is to Hobart. "About 80 kilometers, I tell him. He pulls out his phone and starts doing math. Takes him like 30 seconds. "So that's like 50 miles? I nod. He looks stressed. "Why can't you guys just use miles?" I explain that literally almost the entire world uses kilometers. He seems surprised by this. "Really? I thought it was like 50-50. "It's not 50-50. It's like 3 countries versus everyone else. The temperature thing gets them too." An American woman in her 60s walks into a pharmacy in Hobart looking frantic. "Do you have fever medicine?" "My husband's running a 38.5. The pharmacist looks concerned, but not alarmed. "That's not too bad, just a low fever." The woman's eyes go wide. "Not too bad? That's 101! Then she realizes, oh no. "You use Celsius." The pharmacist nods slowly. The woman laughs at herself. "I was about to call an ambulance." They sort out the medication, and as she's leaving, she turns back. "How do you guys function with Celsius? The numbers are so weird." The pharmacist just smiles. "We could ask you the same thing about Fahrenheit." There was also this family at a swimming pool in Byron Bay. The dad asks the lifeguard if the water's warm. "It's about 24 degrees, the lifeguard says. The dad's face goes pale. "That's freezing!" "Are you serious?" The lifeguard's confused. "It's pretty nice, actually." The dad starts arguing. 24 degrees is below freezing. His teenage daughter figures it out first. "Dad, Celsius." He stops mid-sentence. Thinks about it. "Right, so that's like 75? The lifeguard nods. The dad's shoulders relax. "Okay, that's good." "That's totally fine." His wife is laughing at him. "You were about to forbid the kids from swimming." He defends himself. In my defense, the numbers are confusing. The language barrier is weird in Australia because we technically speak the same language. Technically. But then Americans ask where the bathroom is, and we direct them to a room with just a bathtub. They mean toilet. We call it toilet or loo. The bathroom is literally for bathing. This causes so much confusion. I'm working at a shopping center information desk in Perth. An American woman in her 40s approaches looking urgent. "Where's the bathroom?" I point down the hall. Past the pharmacy, turn left. She rushes off. 5 minutes later, she's back, looking even more stressed. "There's no toilet in the bathroom." I blink. "Did you need the toilet?" She looks at me like I'm crazy. "Yes, that's what a bathroom is." I apologize and redirect her to the actual toilets. She's annoyed but trying to be polite. "Why do you call it a bathroom if there's no toilet?" I explain that the bathroom is where the bath is. She shakes her head. "That's so confusing." Then there's the whole thong situation. An American couple in their 30s are at a beach in the Gold Coast. It's a hot day, maybe 35 degrees Celsius. They're talking to a local surfer who mentions he forgot his thongs. The American woman's face goes red. Her husband tries not to laugh. "You forgot your… what?" The surfer's oblivious. "My thongs, mate. Had to walk across the hot sand barefoot." The couple's trying to figure out if this is a joke. Finally, the wife asks carefully, "What exactly are thongs in Australia?" The surfer points at someone's feet walking by. "Those flip-flops, you call them?" The husband bursts out laughing. "Oh, thank God. We thought you were talking about underwear." The surfer realizes what happened and cracks up too. "Nah, mate, that's a G-string here." The wife's mortified all over again. There was this business traveler from New York staying at a hotel in Sydney, maybe late 40s. He calls down to the front desk at 7 in the morning. "Do you guys serve entrees at breakfast?" The receptionist's confused. "We have a full breakfast menu, but entrees are usually dinner." He's getting frustrated. "I just want something small to start my day. Like an appetizer." Long pause. "Oh, you mean entree like a starter course?" He sounds relieved. "Yes, exactly." She explains that in Australia, an entree is the starter, and the main is the main course. In America, the entree is the main course. He's quiet for a second. "Why would you do that?" "Entree means entrance. It's the main thing you're entering into." She doesn't have a good answer. "I don't know, mate. That's just how we do it." He orders avocado toast, which works in both countries. My cousin works at a grocery store in Canberra. She says Americans get confused by capsicum. They call them bell peppers. She's had multiple people ask where the bell peppers are while standing directly in front of the capsicum. When she points them out, they argue. "Those are just peppers. I need bell peppers specifically." She'll hold one up. "Is this what you're looking for?" They nod. "Yes, but why does the sign say capsicum?" She shrugs. "That's what we call them." One American guy actually looked it up on his phone right there in the produce section. Capsicum is the scientific name. "I guess you guys are technically more correct." He still seemed annoyed about it, though. But my absolute favorite story is about this American backpacker in his early 20s who came into our Melbourne cafe near the end of his Australia trip. He'd been here for 3 months, long enough to know better. He orders Vegemite toast and specifically asks us to make it the proper Australian way. We butter the toast, add the tiniest scrape of Vegemite, barely visible. We bring it out. He looks at it and frowns. "That's it? That's barely anything." My coworker Sarah nods. "That's the correct amount." He looks suspicious but tries it. Takes a bite, chews thoughtfully, swallows. Then he looks at us with this utterly betrayed expression. "This is actually good. I've been eating it wrong for 3 months." Sarah and I exchange glances. "You've been eating it for 3 months?" He nods sadly. "Yeah, I thought I was supposed to power through and acquire the taste. I've been choking down thick layers of it almost every day." Sarah can't help but laugh. "Why didn't you ask someone?" He shrugs helplessly. "I thought admitting I didn't like it would be un-Australian or something." I've been suffering in silence. We make him another piece, properly done, on the house. He sits there eating it slowly, looking simultaneously happy and angry. I could have been enjoying this the whole time. Before he leaves, he asks if this happens to other Americans. We tell him it happens to almost all of them. He seems slightly comforted by this. At least I'm not the only one. As he walks out the door, he turns back one more time. "You guys should really put instructions on the jar," Sarah calls after him. "We do. It says spread thinly right on there." He stops walking, pulls out his phone, looks up a picture of a Vegemite jar, zooms in, reads it. His shoulders slump. "Oh." We watch him shuffle away, defeated by his own inability to read labels. That's the thing about cultural differences. Sometimes they're big and obvious. Different languages, different customs, different sides of the road. But sometimes they're small and sneaky, like how much of a condiment to use, or what to call a flip-flop, or whether 24 degrees means beach weather or a blizzard. You can research all you want before traveling, but some things you only learn through experience. And these stories, they never stop coming. Every tourist season brings a fresh wave of Americans confidently spreading Vegemite like jam, asking for the bathroom when they mean the toilet, and panicking over perfectly pleasant 24-degree weather. And honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way. It keeps things interesting.